going on, Jets fans? Welcome on into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to talk about Justin Fields and the day he had passing the football at practice today. He started off incredibly hot, and it was great news for us Jets fans, but then he started to tail off a little bit during the move the ball period. So we'll dive into all that. Plus, later on in today's show, Braelon Allen, will he be RB1? Apparently, Breece Hall was dropping a lot of passes today, and with him expecting to have a massive role in the passing game, we'll talk about how his drops could affect his role on this offense as a whole. But before we dive into it, if you guys could hit that subscribe button today. We're closing in here on 8,500 subscribers. We just need 259 more of you guys to go down there, hit that subscribe button. It is a free, easy way to help us out. Plus, if you just want more Jets content on your YouTube page every time you open it up, hit that subscribe button today. We got you with daily videos around your New York Jets. All right, so we're going to be going through a bunch of tweets from a bunch of beat reporters that were at practice today, just discussing how Justin Fields looks. So Zach Rosenblatt first tweeting out, Justin Fields with a quick, efficient run of 11 on 11, completed 4 in a row, all quick hitters to Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, and Jeremy Rucker. Now, also, Fields was mentioning at practice yesterday how he expects this offense to really dink and dunk their way up the field. You know, he talked about his emphasis on hitting those quick 8-yard gains, and, you know, it's pretty, at least that was shown on display here to start off the 11 on 11 period. But then also in 7 on 7s, Fields looked pretty good. 1 4 or 5, including an incredible catch in traffic by Garrett Wilson in the end zone. I saw this throw and catch. It was special stuff. Like, that was big time playoff level football, which is obviously great. Now, 7 on 7, you don't have, defenders, trying to get after the quarterback, so it's a lot easier to throw the football there. But in terms of just touch that Fields had on this ball, it was fantastic, and it was also a hell of a catch by number 5, Garrett Wilson. And then this one coming in from Connor Hughes, saying Justin Fields is 8 of 11 passing with a touchdown. Incompletions are a miss/bad throw to Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall drop and throwaway. The touchdown was on a goal line drill to none other than Andrew Beck. And then he also said pretty efficient day there. But on that play to Andrew Beck, he sold it so well. He faked like he was blocking, just kind of floated out to a little naked route right near the right goal line. It was a hell of a route by Andrew Beck, sold it very well, and then Fields hit him right on target. So that's good there. But I kind of want to talk about Fields and just how he plays the game of quarterback and who he reminds me of. And he truly reminds me of a streaky shooter in basketball, where Fields, he gets hot. He sees his first couple of completions go in. He can have himself a hell of a day. But also on the other side of the spectrum, if Fields is inaccurate, maybe he's missing a couple of layups early on in the game that can really derail his whole game. Now, he plays off confidence. He plays off rhythm. But once he gets going, this guy can get super hot throwing the football. But like I said, the other end of the spectrum is the bad, where if he misses a couple of early throws, then he can really derail his game. And I think, honestly, that was on perfect display today at practice, where he started off super hot. He's feeling himself, and then a couple of bad plays start mounting up. Then he can kind of start going in the other direction. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about the move the ball period. So the situation was a minute 38 left in half, 24-20. The Jets and Justin Fields need to get in field goal range or score a touchdown. First play, Will McDonald completely schooled Olu Fashanu, ended up resulting in a sack. So you start off with a sack, and then you have a false start. Got to call a timeout. Then he had an incomplete pass, and it was actually almost a sack by Clemens there. So I guess that's positive for the defensive line. But then he just had to check it down on 3rd and long, had a short completion to Mason Taylor, resulting in a punt. So not good there from the offense. And then also they had another shot at it. And the first play, you get called for an illegal formation. However, he did complete a massive gain to Garrett Wilson for a first down. But then Jermaine Johnson got after him and had a sack, which is honestly, music to my ears. Hearing Jermaine Johnson, battling back from injury, making plays at practice. I think that's great stuff there. Aaron Glenn was also just raving about how fast he looks on the practice field after the session today. But then he followed that up with a completion to Tyler Johnson for a gain of 6 yards. Then it was 3rd and 13. He tried to hit Garrett Wilson over the middle of the field, but he ended up not being able to do that, and it was almost a near sack as well. So the 7-on-7, or the move the ball period, not good for the Jets offense, but overall, it looked good to start, but also not so much later in practice. That was coming in from Zach Rosenblatt. He had Fields completing 14 of 23 passes in 11 on 11 and 5 of 10 in 7 on 7. Few drops were mixed in, specifically 3 drops from Breece Hall. I'll talk about here in a second. But, Fields, no doubt, he is a heavily criticized quarterback. And, every practice, every, singular drive at practice is put under a microscope. You're playing for the New York Jets, big media market. You're a household name, a polarizing player that Justin Fields is. I mean, I'll just see it on Twitter. He'll have a good throw at practice. Oh, he's back. He's got it. And then Fields will struggle. It's like, oh, we need to start tanking for Arch Manning. Just enjoy this process. It's going to take a while. But Fields, so far today, I thought it was a pretty good outing for number 7. If you guys want to show number 7 some love, type his jersey number down below in the comments section. Show Justin Fields your support and type those jersey numbers down below. I'm going to see a bunch of 7s floating in the comments section. All right, coming up next, we'll talk about Braelon Allen and if he can be RB1 for this Jets offense this upcoming season. With Breece Hall having a bad day at practice, it may be a little more likely than you think. But before we dive into it, today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And preseason football is underway, and college football is here, so don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app and plug in promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, Prize Picks, it's simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks also puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And Prize Picks is actually hooking you guys up with a free square right now, where just one Dak Prescott passing yard during week 1 of the season will get you 1 win on Prize Picks. So make sure you guys include that in every single lineup you're playing. It's a free square brought to you by Prize Picks. And if you guys download the Prize Picks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Connor Hughes tweeting this out saying, weird day for Breece Hall. He's dropped 3 passes. Now, I am not hitting the panic alarm and saying, oh, the Jets got to trade or cut Breece Hall, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying that, but this is definitely concerning, and mainly for Breece Hall himself, because if Breece Hall does have drop issues this year, and drops are a mental barrier for some players, where if you have a couple of drops in a practice, you start overthinking it, you start to turn your head upfield, and you don't fully see the football into your hands. And if he is having drop issues, he may see less snaps than we think. Where obviously I think this is going to be majority a 50-50 split in the backfield, split between Breece and Braelon Allen. But if Breece can't catch the football on those 3rd and long situations, or just those 3rd and 5s where you're trying to set up a halfback screen or whatever the play call may be, and you don't trust him to catch that football, maybe they would look at a guy like Isaiah Davis, or maybe they'll just give more run to Braelon Allen. And I will say on Braelon Allen, he has just looked better in the preseason. And this is mainly the eye test with Braelon, where when you're just watching both these guys run next to each other, Braelon looks like the better running back. He looks more athletic. He looks more physical. He falls forward a lot better, and he just gets the most out of every single run. And if you guys are comparing, their 2025 preseason stats so far, where also this snap count is only on rushing plays, so it's not the total snap count, but Breece in 10 snaps on 10 rushing plays had 10 carries for only 35 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Or Braelon Allen, 15 carries for 67 yards, had 2 rushes of 10-plus yards. He has just looked the part better. I think he, right now, is a better running back than Breece Hall. Now, does that mean Breece Hall will have no use in this offense? Absolutely not. But I think a guy who could get majority of the carries should be Braelon Allen. But I also want to share with you guys a funny little quote here from Aaron Glenn. Samini tweeting this out saying, Aaron Glenn reiterates his plan to use 3 running backs, then quickly adds with a smile, that doesn't mean I'm trading Breece. I thought that was a little funny quote right there from Aaron Glenn. But listen, I think if Breece Hall, if he gets traded, it's obviously not going to happen before the season. The only way this happens is a trade deadline move, where maybe a team gets overly aggressive and views Breece Hall as a guy to get them over the top, send the Jets maybe a 3rd, 4th round pick, and the Jets, let's just say they get off to a rocky start and they see Braelon Allen as a true RB1. They clearly love Isaiah Davis. They could just say, hey, we'll go get that extra draft pick. We'll turn the keys of the running back position over to Braelon Allen and Isaiah Davis, and maybe you're able to keep Donovan Edwards on the practice squad. You can call him up, but still, Breece Hall not getting traded before the season. It's good that Aaron Glenn kind of shut that rumor down, but some injury news here. A good day injury-wise for the Jets. Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, and Quinnen Williams returned to practice. Gardner, who had been dealing with calf soreness, got kicked in the leg, and Glenn said he was fine. Now, on that play, Connor Hughes tweeting this out saying Sauce Gardner with a PBU on the end zone pass from Justin Fields to Josh Reynolds. A little friendly fire. Gardner limped off the field, trying to shake it off on the sideline. So he's all good, but still, those calf injuries are dangerous. You know, when you think of calf injury, you think of that bad word that starts with an A. I'm not going to say it out loud here, but, you know, if Sauce, he'll be ready to go week 1. It's also great that Jermaine Johnson and Quinnen Williams are back out there as well. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with the Go Jets down below in the comment section. Appreciate all of you guys taking time out of your day to watch today's show. I'll see you guys next time. As always, Go Jets.